Hello, hello, everybody. Discord is not working on my computer. I was trying to share the link with everybody, but it's not quite working yet. I'm gonna get it to work, though. How we doing? All right. There we are. All right, give me 1 second, you guys. Gotta love some good technical difficulties, right? How we doing? Who's here this evening, if you feel like checking in? Oh, hey, Kitty. Hello, hello. Nice to see you here. I was trying to share the link with you guys, but it just wasn't working. Let me see. Alright, I'll do it on my phone. I think we'll have better luck. Welcome, welcome, you guys. Okay, there we go. Lovely darlings. Alright, so we have made good progress last night. I got derailed with some conversations, but we made good progress. Let's go ahead and launch up over here. How are we doing? Hey, Alethea, welcome, welcome. Good to see you here. How are we doing? Alright, just trying to get the game open for now. I need to fix my bar. My bar is gray at the bottom of my screen. It's not supposed to be. I did it for Halloween, but I never fixed it. So that will have to change. I'll probably do something festive with my frame for the holidays. That'd be nice. But how was her day? How was her day overall? It's already... Oh, not quite. It's almost Thursday. I feel like once Wednesday hits, the week goes by really quickly. At least for me. Alright. We are launching, darlings. Where are we? Aha! Alright. But yes, welcome in, everybody. Welcome in this lovely evening. Late night streams. Probably not the most optimal for everybody, but you know, it could be worse. At least I'm here, right? I used to do very early morning tarot streams. Those were really interesting. I had some that I used to do around, like, I want to say, like, I think once I did it at 5 in the morning. It was really crazy. It was a very, very early stream. Oh, we got a garage band. That's cute. Oh, wow. That loaded really fast. Okay. So, last night, and hopefully it saved correctly. It did. We made a lot of progress on the park, which is, it's looking really good. I think it actually looks better than what we had previously. So, there's good progress here. I'm just having a late night drink. I got off work around 10:30, so I'm unwinding before bed. It always makes me sleepy, right? Yeah, I agree, Kitty. I actually interned for an agency once. It was a design agency that was downtown. It was very, very close to my campus. And they used to go out. They used to go out and get drinks Oh, hey, Maya. Welcome. Just finished playing Sims 4. My sim is a tarot reader with a crystal business. Oh, that's pretty cool. I love that. I've been wanting to get back into The Sims 4 and do gameplay like that. Having like an esoteric sim. That sounds like a lot of fun. We were talking about alcohol making us sleepy. So, like I said, I remember working for this agency. I was an intern, and there were occasions where we would go out to eat. And the owner was really cool. The owner would pay for everything. We'd go out usually for lunch. But there was this one time we went to, they call it like a tapas bar, which is almost like a little bit like a Latin restaurant, a little bit like cantina. The whole thing was made to be like you eat more like appetizer kind of food, which are, I think they're also called tapas in Spanish. But we kept having sangria, and we had like this huge pitcher, and I don't drink. I don't drink a lot. I actually, as of now, I don't think I've actually had a drink, like an alcoholic beverage, in I don't know how long. It's been a long time. I want to say at least 6 or 7 years. It's been quite a while. I don't really have an issue with drinking. I do like the taste of drinks to just try the flavor, but I'm not a drinker by any means. But I could not walk back. That alcohol made me so tired that I was like, I don't know how I'm going to go back to work, because I still had like another 4 hours. I was like, ooh. I had like, I think a good like 3 glasses. It was my fault though. It was kind of like a social pressure thing to like keep drinking because everybody else was, and I'm a tiny person, so it affected me really quickly. Kitty's laughing at me. And these ladies could drink, let me tell you. They had like really strong wine they used to drink during meetings, and I couldn't drink it. Like I could drink it, but I didn't enjoy it. Like that wine was like 15 to 20%, and I was like, damn, I couldn't do it. It was just really strong to me. They were drinking like an upper middle class housewife in there. LOL, that's why I never go out to drink. I'll have a Cosmopolitan with sushi, but that's it. I stick to drinking at home, right? So you don't have to stumble back anywhere. I have actually never been... I've never been drunk. Fun fact, I've never been drunk. I don't think my body processes alcohol in that way. I usually get very tired and maybe a little bit like sick, like ill from it if I drink too much. That's usually how my body handles it. Maya says same, right? I'm personally not a huge fan of anything in general that is put in the body that can alter your behavior, especially if it can put you in like a dangerous situation. That's why I'm very like anti-drugs personally. Things like, you know, Mary Janes and other things. Smoking, like cigarettes, for example, I'm just more so against it for like the health reasons, because I don't believe that has any effect mentally, or not as strongly as alcohol or Mary Janes. But yeah, I don't really like seeing people in that state. I love Mike's Heart Lemonade. Yeah, I heard good things about that. I think Hezekiah who drank? I'm not sure. I like to have a few after work. By a few, I mean 4 to 6, depending on the night. That's fair. It doesn't make me drunk anymore. I just get sleepy. Yeah, because I'm sure the alcohol content is not very high in those. Mm-hmm. Ooh, I did not do this right, but yeah, 5% is a good amount. It's very little. It's like just enough to have that little kick to it, but it's not really going to do anything to you unless you drink several of them. Yeah, like I remember being in my dorm once. I was already of legal age, by the way, but the way our dorm worked was if you were of legal age to drink, you could. You could not, however, have it be... If you had people that were not of age, you could not have that alcohol be accessible. So I remember my parents, they actually, my mom loves wine coolers, and I actually like them too. I don't drink them anymore though, but my mom got me a bunch of them. I think it was Seagram's, I think. And just to test my tolerance, I think I downed like 3 of them like back to back, and that's when I started to feel like a little sick. I got like that, you know, because alcohol like heats you up on the inside. I probably could have like had another one, but I was like, yeah, I don't think I'm the drunk type. I just get like woozy and I'm getting like a little ill, and that's about it. Lethea, that's one of my favorite drinks outside of my Jack Daniels. Ooh. Kitty says, I suppose it doesn't help. I smoke the Lord's lettuce as well. It helps my aching body more than painkillers ever have. I tell you that much. Yeah, I do hear a lot about that. Or that it alleviates anxiety as well. I can't stand the smell, though. I really can't, unfortunately. It reeks. It smells so bad. It smells like a skunk. Yeah, no, I can't. I'm curious to know about its, like... I'm curious to know about its medicinal properties, but in the form as, like, a traditional medicine as opposed to, you know, the leaves. Yeah. See, like, I don't really mind the smell of cigarettes, but, I mean, I can't handle the smoke. Like, I will start coughing. I actually had somebody that I had been dating once, and they had friends that smoked, but I could not be around them. And they didn't take the hint. And I tried to be as candid with my behavior as possible. I didn't want to, like, fake cough for them to move, but I couldn't handle it. I could not handle it. And they were completely... just oblivious to the fact that like the smoke was blowing in my face and I was like having a hard time. And it's one of those things where like I'm a person where if I go to a city, like a very urban city like New York City for example, my body my body doesn't handle poor air quality well. If there's like high humidity and I can't breathe, or if the air is very smoggy and I can't breathe, I feel it. So somebody smoking in my face, I'm like, no, I can't. And maybe they think I'll be rude, but I'm like, I'm sorry, but I'm like, you need to like go somewhere else. I can't. You know what I mean? Oh, hey, Last Kitty, how are you? Today, someone was smoking MJ outside my workplace, and you could smell all the way to the kitchen. Yeah, it's strong. It's very strong. Okay, so I have this. So what we're going for, you guys, we're going for a country club. Because we're in the ritzy part of town here. Oh, hello, Raven. Hello, so one of my hate watches got demonetized while the reaction channel was live and we were celebrating until now. Wait, what happened? One of my hate watches? What's that? Oh, man. Yeah, what is that? One of my hate watches? I'm not sure I understand. Ooh, glad you're doing well. Oh, I see your kitty cat, Last Kitty. I see your cat in your profile pic. Very cute. I love kitty cats. People you hate but watch for the drama. Oh, gotta love them. Gotta love some drama. Alright, we're going for a stone wall, darlings. But yeah, I just wish like people were more mindful of certain things. You know what I mean? I was the person that I was dating before, they had a lot of friends who just, they did a lot. They drank, they smoked, and smoked like both things, and I was just not very comfortable with that. And it was frustrating because they kept painting me as, not directly, but they kind of painted me as kind of like the stick in the mud. Because they're like, oh, well, you're just not used to these kinds of people or these kinds of like, you know, substances or whatever. And I'm like, no, I don't want to be around this 24/7. Like, I'm cool if like you want to have like a drink, or I'm fine with people like drinking, but like smoking or getting, you know, wasted and baked out of your mind, I'm like, I'm not about that. I'm not. I'm like, you can call me a prude, but I just don't think this is healthy or responsible, and it's not like mindful either, unless you're in an environment where everybody's doing that. You know what I mean? So yeah, that relationship didn't last. But it's okay. We were not really too good of a fit. Oh, her name is Socks. Oh my goodness, you have a cat named Socks. I love that. That's so cute. I've had that reaction a lot because of not doing any substance recreationally. Oh. Oh, so people kind of give you the same flack, huh, Raven? I didn't like it. I kind of felt like they were saying, how do I say it? Without verbally saying it in this way, I felt like they were insinuating that I was stuck up, or like I thought I was better than them. That's very rude of them. Whenever I have people over, I ask if they're okay with me smoking first. I thought that was common courtesy, right? So here's the tricky thing. You guys. I was actually invited to, or I want to say invited, or at least they talked about the idea of me going to someone's house where people smoked. And to me, this is where we kind of had a little bit of a debate here. For me, let's say I was a smoker, all right? Let's say I was a smoker, regardless of what I'm smoking. If somebody were to come into my place, I would still be mindful of other people being exposed to my smoke. Or let's say I had a dog, you know, for example, or even a cat. It doesn't really matter. It could be a pet, especially a pet that is like cageless, like one that free roams. And even if I love my pet, I have to realize that not everybody's gonna be comfortable with an animal like walking around, either because they're scared of it, they're allergic, they're a germaphobe. I'm kind of a germaphobe myself, so it's one of those things where it's like, there are times where we just for that moment, just be a little bit courteous or be more cognizant of people around. But the person I was dating was like, I don't know, that seems like really selfish of you to like ask them to like not smoke while you're there, or like smoke away. But I'm like, okay, but if you're having company, then you should be mindful of that. Like, obviously if other people smoke, if your friends smoke, then you're like, oh, well, I understand if you don't care. You know what I mean? But that's just me. I try to be very considerate of others, and I feel very embarrassed or ashamed like if I do something that makes somebody uncomfortable or compromises somebody else. But there are just some people that are like, like I'll do what I want, and then screw everybody else. I wouldn't want to smoke tobacco around me, so I extend the same to others. Yeah. Raven, I've had people insist continually for me to drink, almost forcing me to. I had to shout I take medication because my no wasn't being respected. Ooh, that's awful. That's terrible. Yeah. I don't agree with that. I know people that are like that. They would not be in my friend group, honestly. Kitty says, I feel like we were raised properly, which can't be said of others. Yeah. No, for sure. And it's one of those things where I really try to be respectful, because I understand, like, we all have our own autonomy. You know what I mean? Like, I obviously don't have, like, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not something I would, like, promote in, like, my own lifestyle to like, you know, drink heavily or use a lot of drugs. But like I said, to each their own. But you just gotta have a little bit more consideration for others around you, especially for people that don't do those things. You know what I mean? Whereas, you know, in their friend group, if they all do it, then by all means, you know. And then, you know, likewise for me, obviously, like, if I don't really enjoy partaking in those things, it wouldn't make sense for me to go to a venue where those things are being used all the time. And then for me to like request that makes no sense. You know what I mean? It's kind of like a read the room situation. So there is an element that definitely goes both ways, you know. Raven said, back then I was more polite, now I answer rude. Which part of no is hard to understand, the N or the O, right? No, I do not. I do not like people that are forceful in that way. Nope. For sure. Because that is, you know, that is something being put in your body. Like, nobody can force you to do that. Same thing when it comes to intimacy. You should never be forced to do something that you don't want to. Absolutely not. That very quickly turns into the R word. Or SA word. And it's really stupid too, Raven, because it's like they're only doing that for their own benefit. You know what I mean? Because they somehow want to have, like, the joy of seeing you drink or you becoming drunk. It doesn't really benefit you. You know what I mean? Unless it's one of those things like, oh, like, just try a little bit. Like, if you want to, you know, it's a really great drink if you want to just try a bit of the flavor of the drink. Not like, oh, let's, like, you know, back to back do some shots or something. You know what I mean? And then if you don't want to, it's like, okay, cool. And let it be. That's it. Just let it be. Ask once and that's it. You know? Oops. Maybe I should just redo it. Let me see. It'll be faster. There we go. I'll offer someone a puff, but if they say no, then that's it. No means no. I want everyone to have a good time, not feel pressure into doing something they're not comfortable with. Exactly. Right. Yeah, like for me, for example, I'll be honest with you guys, like I have not had a drink in a very, very long time. It was more of just like one of those things where my ex didn't drink, and it's not like drinking is not something I crave. I think there are times where I'm like, ooh, I'd be curious to see what that tastes like, but then that's it. You know, I'll have like maybe like that only one or like part of a drink and that's it. I'm not interested in getting drunk. I don't like things like shots or things like that either, you know? So like if the opportunity came up, I'd be like, okay, yeah, let me try a sip of that. Like, let's just see, you know, especially if it's not too strong or anything like that. But yeah, I would not be like binge drinking, for example. Oops. I need one over here. I'm surrounded by smokers wherever I go. I can't breathe with tobacco smoke. Literally, yeah, me too. But other stuff doesn't close my airways. These people always forget and blow out smoke my way, hurting me. That's the thing too. I mean, I've actually heard that secondhand smoking can be much more dangerous. I'm not really sure why. I'm assuming because, like, I mean, this is probably not how it works, but I'm almost assuming it's one of those things where obviously smokers, the people that are actively smoking, I would almost assume that to an extent their body has become conditioned to it, whereas for us who don't smoke, our bodies don't know how to handle that. I mean, you know, their lungs are still deteriorating. Don't get me wrong, but I feel like that may be why. I could be, and I'm probably very wrong on that, but that's just the logic that I have in my head. And then for those of us who are already very sensitive to like poor air quality or lack of like oxygen, it's just even worse. It's just even worse, you know? But yeah, no, that's why like on my dating profiles, it's a very hard no for any kind of smoking. Yeah. It's not a good fit. Okay, so I'm thinking we can do all of this. It's not gonna be this color though. This color's really, it's really bad looking for what this is supposed to be. But yeah, I think like the wood vinyl would be fine. I get you, Townie. I don't drink to get drunk anymore. I just enjoy the taste. It's fun to have a drink that pairs nicely with what you're eating. Yeah, especially if it's part of the experience, you know what I mean? Like, obviously, like with the tapas place, we were having sangria, or I went to like a Thai fusion place and I had a drink that was like a mixed drink with sake. So that's interesting, you know? Tried beer a few times, but it's not really my thing. It's just not really my thing. And I don't like any of the shots or like, you know, the really strong stuff just doesn't appeal to me. It's almost like, you know what it's like, you guys? Like when you if you were to drink something really strong, I'm talking like really high alcohol content, it's almost like saying, oh, I like spicy food, but you get something that's so spicy that you can't even taste the food. You're just like sweating and, you know, struggling to breathe. And at that point it's like, well, you know, why are we consuming this? You know what I mean? Today I had a Mike's limeade with a cheeseburger. Ooh, it was heaven. Yeah, that sounds good. That sounds like a really good, like, beach food almost, you know? Like a summer day. Raven, my husband is like that too, kitty. He used to drink to get drunk when he was younger. Now he wants different drinks for the taste, not for the effect. Yeah, absolutely. I only drink vodka-based cocktails. Ooh, interesting. Last kitty says, I don't drink or smoke because of my epilepsy. Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure. We have two kitties here. We have East Coast Kitty on YouTube, and we have Last Kitty on Twitch. The both of you are like stream cousins. You're just on different, you're on different platforms currently. Okay, so here's this. I kind of feel like this center area should be taller, though. Let me see. Shh. Have it pierce through. Hello from the other side. Yeah, right? Yeah, and when your messages come up, you both have kitty cats as your profile pictures, so that helps. Let me see where this starts, because I want to put like a wall here. Just to block that out. I might do a hidden room or something. I could even do like a steeple or something. We're fancy, darlings. Fancy. Fancy, fancy, fancy. Alright. I'm liking this rich area, though. I'm having a lot of fun. My favorite drink is pineapple, condensed milk, and coconut milk. No need for alcohol for it to taste good, though for customers, they buy it with vodka. Interesting. I feel like that drink would pair well with rum. I see a lot of, like, rum used with, like, kind of more like, that kind of thing. I don't know. I see rum used a lot with, like, more tropical kind of inspired drinks. Let me see something. Oh, there it is. It's rum also. Because I used to love mojitos, and those are rum. Rum, ginger ale / Sprite, and then mint. I enjoyed mojitos because, like, when I used to drink soda, my go-to was, like, clear sodas, like ginger ale and Sprite. So that with a little bit of kick, and I love some mint. I think they also have lime in it, too. I think. It's been so long. See, I don't remember. Kitty says, my profile picture is my cat Pudding when she was a kitten. Oh, her name is Pudding. I love that. Raven, that drink sounds like it would be nice for a hot summer night. Yeah, that's what it sounds like. Raven says, the one and only time I drank rum was a rum and coke, and I had a migraine for a week? Really? I'm assuming vodka stronger, isn't it? Vodka versus rum. Oh, interesting. Overproof rum can be stronger than typical vodka. The strength depends on the product, not the type of spirit. Yeah, it's tricky because they're both really high in content, but obviously, like, it depends on how much is put in the drink. You know what I mean? If it's like this much everything else and then like this much alcohol, it gets diluted very quickly, you know? It's great. Hubs likes pineapple with mint. Ooh. Fancy, fancy. I'm weak with all substances. Just half a glass of beer gets me drunk. Oh my god, you're like my mom. My mom's already woozy very quickly. I love that. It's the sleepiness that gets it for me. For sure. Like that's gonna be like my demise. If I was like somebody who drank a lot, it will be that. But see, even that is dangerous, you guys. Even if I don't get quote unquote drunk, the fact that like how do I say it? The fact that I can be so tired or lethargic or what's the word I'm looking for? Fatigued afterwards, that's dangerous. All right, let's lower this one. Just enough. Kitty says, yeah, if I mix my own drinks, I'll only put a shot or two into a tall glass of juice, not strong at all. Yeah, makes sense. Raven says, Townie, I've become drunk with the smell of strong drink. That is something. I've never heard of that before. I've heard of people getting like, you know, high from like secondhand. I have heard of that. Which, see, I also don't like that either, because that's why I would also not want to be, like, in the space of somebody doing that, because, again, I don't like the idea of being in an altered state. I'm thinking we should do another level, but I'm not too sure about it. Oh, there we go. Let's see. I like the idea of it, but I don't know how it's going to work with the roof. That's my only concern here. So let me see what we can do. I used to be a lightweight, but my tolerance grows fast. Interesting. Raven says, I hate how alcohol makes me feel physically weak and drowsy. Yeah, drowsy. That's a good word. That's the word I was looking for, Raven. Thank you. Yeah, it makes me drowsy as well. That's the word. Yeah, I don't like that sensation either. Again, it's that altered state. Maybe it's the Virgo in me, but I mean, for everyone's sake, I don't think it's safe to get to that point where you can't walk straight, you can't think straight. Many, many, many poor decisions were made from being under the use of some kind of substance. So just use responsibly, for sure. By the way, did you see that EA released a blog post saying the reason Sims 4 lag is because the players use too much content? They are so full of sugar honey iced tea. I'm so over it. I'm so over EA and their stupid excuses. They had made some other posts recently saying that most bugs that were being encountered were due to mods and that they were wasting time and money into Q&A testing because of that. That is a blatant lie, especially because when I used to play The Sims 4, I have played it vanilla with nothing, and it still had severe issues. So that is a load of crap. That is a lie. Blatant lie. Oh, hey, Overdose. Welcome in. Good to see ya. It's been a hot second. We're just working on my Sims 3 custom world. I'm doing a country club right now. It's a resort, and the resort is actually buried underneath. It's right here. Thank God that the rabbit hole does not pierce through the lawn. I had a plan for it anyways, but it's not an issue. I'm loving this so far, though. It does look nautical, but also ranch style in an interesting way. Let me go ahead and save it out, though. But welcome. Right, Raven? I love that. OMG, LOL, yes, Townie, when I first started smoking before I lived with my husband, I was over at his place with him and his buddy, and they hotboxed the place. Oh my god, you're so bad, kitty. That's wild. Okay, so let me see. We do have to put some trees in. We're missing a lot of landscaping. Maya says, or they can't fix the game because there are too many pack combinations. Who Who is making these lame-ass excuses? Those are the dumbest excuses I can ever think of. That is their own product. That is their own product, so that is completely on them. Oh my gosh. And that's why I don't buy anything else from The Sims 4. Or anything else that they're gonna make with The Sims. I think this is the end of the line for me, you guys. I'm very happy with what I have in The Sims 4, and of course with The Sims 3. Like I said last night, if I do buy more Sims 3 content, I am not going to buy it from EA. I'm going to try to get it from players that are either selling their game or from a third party, and that'll be it for me. But certainly nothing new from EA and nothing else in The Sims universe. D-O-N-E. Done. Hopefully Paralyzed. Oh man, Paralyzed is taking so long, but I'm really hoping for it. I'm really hoping for Paralyzed because I do want to... I still love The Sims regardless of what, you know, monstrosity that is EA. It's still a very... What's the word I'm looking for? It's a very beloved game for many, many people, but we need something new. We need something new to come along. Kitty says they fix one thing and 10 other things pop up. It really is like that. It really is like that, unfortunately. But then the fact that they blame other people for it is terrible. They have no accountability at all. Their first mistake was using that horrible game engine. Oh yeah, well they had the whole ordeal with, what they wanted to do originally with the game. In terms of making it a mobile experience and having it be cross-pack compatible. I don't know if they're ever gonna like fix that framework, honestly. Also, I see some friends over on Twitch. Welcome. I do a little bit of spying, but I won't call you out. But glad you could join us this evening. Raven, honestly, even as a sailor, I don't want more Sims 4 stuff. Yeah, I know. Even the stuff that's been coming out has not even been that great. The only thing I wanted was the fairies. There are fairies in my game. How sad is it to say a company is so bad they aren't worth sailing for? Yeah, that's pretty bad. That's a new low. Yeah. That's really bad. That really says something, honestly, about the poor quality of the game in general. Ooh, I have no parking. I have no parking. I should have put this farther back, but... I mean... There's room. There's room. Okay. I'm gonna fit like 4. Let me see. Okay, yeah, I got a room. Did I put it like all the way to the edge? No. Okay. Lovely. Let us get some pavement. I almost want to do like terrain paint. Let me see. Kitty, the last pack I got was Adventure Awaits. I'm satisfied with the purchase, but I will not be buying from them again. Everything feels like a cash grab these days. Yeah. That SpongeBob thing, man. That... When I saw that, I was like, you have got to be kidding me. They were probably thinking like, oh, well, we already did it with Batu with The Sims 4, so we might as well have another, like, IP involved. And I'm like, oh, just no. Not sure about these options, actually. This one? Nope, that was what I had. Maybe that one. I use over here. They're not bad options. They're just not the right colors. They're a little too dark. Don't get me started. I like SpongeBob. What the heck? Yeah, no. I was telling somebody, like, they could literally drop a pack with Mulan stuff. And as much as I love Mulan, I'd be like, why is she here? You know what I mean? Or I'll try to use something like more recent. Let me see. What could pop up? But yeah, I think of like Disney content, for example, or there could be like an Encanto pack, you know, or like Luca pack or something, and I'd still be like, why is this here? This is very deliberately like a cash grab, just utilizing whatever IP is relevant or beloved. Or if there's like a Frozen pack, for example, or like a Wicked pack, I could see that, you know what I mean? But it's like, no. Now, it's one thing to be inspired by. I will say that. If it was inspired by something and you could see like motifs, but you don't have like verbatim the characters appearing, then maybe I could let it fly. But God, like they had stickers. They had stickers of the actual SpongeBob characters verbatim, not like a parody of them, like just straight up. And I'm like, I don't want that in the game. It's also very immersion breaking to me. You know, if I wanted that, I would download custom content, but not for it to be an actual part of the game. Yeah, the SpongeBob stuff is random. Yeah, I agree. It's very strange. Raven said, I know I've said this a lot, but again, World Adventures, the Singer Pack, and Supernatural, the best. Exploring tombs is so satisfying. Oh, it is fun. Yep. I did love Showtime as well. It's not like a very popular one, but I love the fashion. The careers were fun. Like being able to become a celebrity is cool in that way. The objects were nice. I liked it. I'm gonna figure out I'm not sure what to do with the courtyard yet, you guys, but I'll figure it out. Let's do like a little way over here. I need to come up with a name for this place. You guys want to help me with a name for this? I'm liking it so far, though. It desperately needs landscaping, though. It's a big hunk of building. Yeah, definitely fountain. For sure, Raven, yep. Okay, so let's think of a name. We also have lots over here that are homages to you guys. So there's some potential. If you guys want to be part of the name of the place. I don't know if we have Raven yet. Can't remember. The park doesn't have a name. Let's see what we got. This does not have a name yet. This is a reference to me, TS Corporate Center. No name. No name. No name yet. These have names, though. This one has. Alethea Sports Stadium. Love it. The Gloopy Keg Sports Bar. For our friend Gloopy, who pops in on Twitch. The Kid Hawk Memorial Park. For our friend Kitty over here. Yeah, there's a lot of things that don't have names yet, though. But yeah, I need a name for this. So it's gonna be something something country club. We have Maya here as well. I'm not sure. I like your name, Maya. I'm not sure if it's fitting for this lot. Unless it could be like the Maya something something country club. Magpie Meadows. Oh, that's kind of cool. I like that, actually. I have a supernatural section, so I think your name will work there, Raven. Let's see. Who wants to be the country club? It would be something like very English sounding. Like, so if it's Maya here. Just make sure I have enough syllables or characters, I should say. It would something be like the Maya Waldorf Country Club, you know? The Maya Wharf could actually fit, funny enough, because the wharf, I think a wharf is like the area near the ocean. Is that correct? Or where the boats are? Yeah, it's a harbor. Okay. The Maya Wharf Country Club. I love that. It's historical. I love it. There we go. Look at that. You guys are part of the lore now. I'm too artistic for a country club. They're too boring, right? It's so weird, you guys. I feel like a part of me, and I think it's because of my mom. My mom can, like, I don't know. There's something about my mom where I think because she used to be part of an upper middle class family back in Vietnam before the war. So like my mom, sometimes like at certain times she knows how to carry herself as, like, you know, being a little bit more affluent, not like snobby per se, but like very like poised and like well-mannered, you know what I mean? Like somebody who would be like upper middle class, if that makes sense. And sometimes I'm like, can I pull it off? I think I'd be able to pull it off for a while and get tired of it. Like being so proper all the time. I kind of code switch, I guess you can say. Damn, these are some huge trees. I like the look, but they're just too large. Can we get something smaller? No, I think they're all this large. I can have them over here, though. I can name the gym if it's not named yet. Healthy Overdose Gym and Spa. I love that. That's fun. Yeah, your name is fun for that. I'm definitely going to keep that. I'm definitely going to keep it in the books. I do like the scraggly trees, funny enough, but let me see what else we got. We got these, but these are like... Those trees are in a different part of town. Hezekiah is not here just yet either. I don't have anything named after him yet. But yeah, I'm not sure about the trees. Let me see, because we got those. I can just kind of use what I already have. Kind of like the look of those too, but they're very large. Oh man, no, I forgot I have the little thing here. Oh, snap. They're different trees. I didn't know. Oopsies. I did not know those were different trees. Because these are late night, and then there's a different kind. I did not realize it. Oops. My bad. All right, let me see. Raven, anytime someone talks about country clubs, I remember that movie, The Master of Disguise. The dude shows up to the country club dressed as a turtle. Am I country enough for the country club? Oh, the poor thing. That's funny. I love that movie. I have not seen it. I have not seen it, unfortunately. It does ring a bell, though. That, like, when you describe that scene, it definitely rings a bell. I will say, you guys, I'll be totally honest, and I think I talked about this before, too. I do live in a nicer town overall. I will say, like, just looking at the people around, everyone is definitely middle class and above. Middle class and lots of upper middle class too, like in this area. But it is weird for me because I am not really in that bracket. I always tell people, like, I feel like I'm working middle class. Like, I can definitely afford a nice place for myself. I can pay all my bills and still have money left over. But it's not like, how do I say it? I can't just throw money around willy-nilly. I still have to be very careful with my budget. I cook my own meals. I look for sales. I usually don't go out and, like, spend money on a concert or, like, a fancy vacation. I just happen to live in a nicer town where most of the people around me do have much higher income brackets, you know? But it's one of those things where, you know, I talked about this with my parents before, and it's not to, like, dunk on anybody who is stuck living in a rough neighborhood, but if I had the choice to choose one or the other, I'm gonna choose a place where I feel safer, because I've lived in places where, especially the second apartment that I ever lived in, and this was with my ex, it was a bad area. We had police coming into the complex every night. I think there were people that were involved with drugs illegally. We were chased by somebody that was, I think, you know, a little bit, well, I don't know what was going on with them, but I think they were on something. We were chased back to our apartment late at night. It was not a fun time. We definitely stayed inside, locked the door, didn't really talk to anybody. The apartment, the inside of the apartment was fine, but, you know, just the area and, like, overall what it was like, it was really bad. We really, in some ways, regretted living there because, you know, we were there only for a year. We were there and we're like, this is just not a good place to be. That was the shortest lease I ever had. I just stayed there for 1 year and I was gone. We were both gone. I only watched the trailers. Oh, gotcha. But yeah, so it's one of those things where it's like, do I feel like my neighbors? Like, do I feel like I can relate to them? Yes and no. You know what I mean? But am I going to choose where I lived previously over here? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I hate that there's this association with, like, being like lower income or poor and it having to be tied to, like, a dangerous life or a dangerous living situation, but that's usually what it correlates with. I don't know why that is. I never know why, but it happens. Kitty said, I grew up in what many people would call a ghetto, although that term is generally considered offensive. Yeah. I went to a middle school that was in that kind of neighborhood, so I'm kind of glad I did though, in a weird way. Like it was a very uncomfortable experience for me because I was also being bullied a lot by people like that lived in that kind of area. But yeah, in a weird way, I appreciate that I had that because I had always lived not like in a super privileged place per se, but at least like we were like roughly like almost middle class in terms of like my family and what they could provide. So there was never an issue of like, oh, we're not going to be able to afford food or bills, you know what I mean? So we were like getting to the cusp of middle class. My family's definitely not middle class quite there, but we were always like working towards that. But then, you know, living in an area that was rough, like the area was that word, Kitty. The word, that was the word. The kids behaved that way. Like the culture was really that word as well. And that was a shock for me. It really was, because I had never seen that. Where I used to live up north, we didn't have that, especially with the different, you know, cultures down here in Florida. I was not exposed to that. It was a culture shock. You know, I was familiar with people that were working class, people that were poor, but the energy and the level of the expression or how they presented themselves and how they acted were so different. It was very different from that same socio-economic class here in Florida. It's very, very different. Raven, there aren't enough characters to explain where I've lived from 1st to 13th grade. I lived in 19 places in 2 countries. That's a lot. It's a lot. Kitty, I was poor and surrounded by poor people, but it's also full of wonderful people and many cultures to learn from. Yeah. I finally have a decent job and my husband has a very good job, so we've recently been talking about moving somewhere else. I'm both excited and scared of the idea. I've never known anything else. Yeah, and it's funny too, Kitty, because I'm sure, and you can probably agree with this too, I hate that there is this association with, like, and unfortunately it exists, like I said earlier, for some reason when it comes to a poor neighborhood or a lower class neighborhood, when we talk about socioeconomic status, it is always followed by crime or violence, a lot of domestic disturbances as well. I hate that that's always the case, because I know that there are a lot of people that are not in great financial situations that really struggle, but they do their best to, you know, be respectful, be law-abiding citizens, and they want something more. But then there's a darker side of that demographic that, you know, it's sad. It's sad, but of course, like I mentioned, like for my own safety, like would I feel comfortable living in an environment like where my ex was before? If I had to, I'd make do with it. It's just a matter of like, oh, if I'm going to live in that area, I'm going to lock the freaking door. I'm going to lock the freaking door, put an alarm on, and not go outside past like sundown. You know what I mean? But yeah, no, if I have the means to live in a safer area, I'm going to do it. You know, even though, like I said, I don't fully feel a lot of times like I belong in the area that I live in. It's really strange, because I do feel like people around me are just better off, and I think the people are also more like materialistic, which I'm not. You know, I have, you know, if you see the people that or at least a majority of the people that like live in the place I do, I feel like most people are definitely middle class. They're like lots of people working in the medical field or working corporate jobs, you know, very, very flashy, you know. And you can tell from their behaviors that they live that lifestyle. They're going to go out, they're going to do their yoga at a boutique studio, and then, you know, have fancy dinner on a penthouse, you know what I mean? It's weird. I can't do all those things. I don't really crave it, but it's weird. It's weird, like, just being surrounded by different demographics or types of people, and just like It's just weird, especially when you don't feel like you quite belong in any of those. Overdose. My childhood was strange. My great-grandmother was a nanny for rich families in Manhattan, so I experienced some of that lifestyle, but my family was very working class from the Bronx. Oh, yeah. That sounds like Made in Manhattan, actually, that movie. Yeah. Kitty says, yes, a lot of impoverished folk turn to crime because they're stuck in a vicious cycle of poverty. Yeah. That's usually what happens. Raven, the key to stop crime is simply give everybody means to live. Most people do crime because that's how they feed their families. Yeah, and I think there's also there's a lot more substance usage with poor communities because it's depressing. Like, just like straight up, people are just overworking themselves. They have little pay. They're seeing little opportunities to succeed. So if they're going to enjoy life, and if it's going to come down to something like heavy substance usage, they're going to turn to it, you know. But unfortunately, if they're also unhappy, they're not going to be the best people in general. I feel like, you know, with cases of like domestic disturbances, that's where that happens. People are stressed, they're angry, they're frustrated. It builds up, and then unfortunately it leads to a lot of unpleasant stuff. And, you know, people are not, like, people of any class, they're not immune to it. I've heard, like, even in the place I live, I've heard people fight and yell and curse out each other. You know, being wealthier doesn't magically make you a saner or more respectful or a nicer person. It does not. And vice versa either. A lot of times I enjoy like connecting with people that are like at like where I am, or even having less, because I know that they're usually more humble. They're more human. You can actually talk to them and they're not going to be like snobby or standoffish, you know? Kitty says, I know in my areas there are many dealers, robbery, and knife violence. Yeah. I'm pretty sure we had a lot of dealers in the old place I used to live. It was the place I lived before this apartment. This complex I've been at for the past 5 years, roughly. There was a young Indian woman who... Oh my god. Wow. That's very disturbing. Oof. Hmm. I hope they investigated that thoroughly. That's... That's an awful way to die. And that does not sound... It does not sound like an accident. Okay. Let me put a fence in. I don't know how I like the silver fence. I think I need to go darker. Yeah, I had a bad feeling they did that, Kitty. That's terrible. You know, that reminds me, this is a little bit different. She was only 19. Her mom was the one. Oh my god. Oh, that's awful. Oh my god. That's terrible. Oof. Wow, that is so sad. That's extremely... I don't want to say that, like... both suffer equally, because obviously the poor girl lost her life, but as a parent, to see your child, the remains of your child, in that manner of death is horrifying. That's horrifying. It did remind me, though, of something that happened. This is not as, like, dark, per se, but it's still very mysterious. Or there's two things, actually. Okay, so the first thing that it reminds me of, and this was an accident. This was an accident. Something similar happened here in the States where a young teen attending a hotel party allegedly walked into one of those freezers and froze to death. Okay. Yeah, I see that all the time in the movies. It's a very common thing in movies for some reason, like the idea of somebody being locked in a freezer, and they usually escape or they, you know, have their demise there. I heard a story about a man who was cleaning a refrigerator, like a commercial refrigerator for a supermarket. I don't know if he was trying to clean behind it while he was up on a ladder, but he fell, and he fell head first behind the freezer. I think he was maybe like knocked out unconscious, but he died behind the freezer. So he was trying to clean something or move something on top of it, and he fell down. And he had been missing for a while. I think he'd been missing for like 5 or 6 years. It was something long like that, and they found his body there. And he was young. He was, I want to say, like 20. Definitely early 20s, no later than that. Yeah. Oh god. I don't know how they didn't smell it. I don't know how they didn't smell it, honestly. Let me look up the time frame. How long was it? 10 years. Oh my god, he was only 25. Oh my god. Wow. The other story I heard about, I think, was in England. And this was such a weird death. There was a story, and you guys may have heard about it. There was a woman who passed away in her apartment, and for years, I think for a period of 6 years, nobody found her body. I think she had very little family. She had stopped dating somebody as well. For some reason, her job, I don't know if they ever called her. I think she may have been like in between jobs at the moment. But they found her body in front of a television, and the TV was still on. It was around Christmas, and it was really sad because she appeared to be like assembling gifts. But I think she had a heart attack or something, and she had like pretty much passed away on the couch, and she was still there with the gifts, like holding on to a present or something. But I forget what they said. I think her body had been there so long that she had like disintegrated into the couch, so it was a really unpleasant situation trying to like keep her corpse intact while they were trying to move her. But it was very mysterious, the fact that nobody found her, and her rent was overdue, to what I understand. But authorities said that her accounts were on auto pay. But then she was late on electricity for obvious reasons because she had passed away, but the power was still on. The TV was still on for like the period of 6 years, which is really creepy. It's very, very creepy. I don't understand how that happened. The Walmart oven thing happened when I was working at McDonald's across the street. Oh my god. That's terrible. That's why I avoid going around big machinery, crawling in caves, or going underwater. Oh no. No, 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 no. I refuse to go near big dangerous machines. No walk-ins. Yeah. Overdose, you think you heard about it? Yeah, it was very eerie. It was a very eerie case, honestly. I think what really creeps me out about that case, about that woman who passed away in her apartment, is that she was just a very normal person. At least, you know, according to investigations, because they didn't find anything. She wasn't like a criminal. She wasn't doing anything legal. She didn't have anybody that were like after her. But she was just a normal person that passed away. It's sad because she died alone by herself and nobody found her all that time. Nobody cared enough to check in on her. That's what makes it so sad, because it could happen to anybody. Like, I know that for me, like, if I were to pass away, there would be a lot of, like, red flags popping up. Like, at the point where I am right now, like, I have somebody that I've been seeing, like, romantically. I'm still close friends with my ex, who definitely calls and texts me. At least, like, a couple times a week. I have my clients. I have my students. So I have like multiple jobs where there'd be big red flags if I was gone, and then you guys as well. So I would hope that I would not meet that same fate as that woman. That's horrible. I think if I were to, God forbid, pass away in my apartment without anybody here, I think there would be, I would hope that people would be able to find me at least within a week or a couple weeks. Definitely not 6 years. That's just really sad. That's really sad to me. And the fact that she died putting together Christmas presents is like heartbreaking. I think they said some of the presents were for people that she didn't even talk to in a long time but still wanted to gift. That made it even worse. I was like, oh my god, that's really sad. It makes me sad in general that the idea of somebody living on this planet where nobody cared enough about them to see how they were doing or talk to them, that makes me so sad. That's why for me, stories like that are always so sad. Like, she didn't have anyone who cared enough to check on her. Exactly, right? I don't have many close people in my life. My life is built on routine, so I'd hope people would be worried if I went missing. Right. But yeah, that's why, like, for me, and this is actually a big pet peeve of mine, funny enough, because I go into streams a lot. I cannot stand being ignored. I really can't. That's probably a big pet peeve of mine. You know, I don't want to be the center of attention, but I hate, like, the feeling of being ignored or, like, not being acknowledged, whether it's accidental or intentional. That always bothers me. And in return, I hate ignoring people. I hate you as well, Kitty. I always want to make sure everybody feels acknowledged. And I feel awful when I miss something, especially if somebody is genuinely wanting to have a conversation and I miss something. Or if I make somebody feel bad for any reason, that makes me feel terrible. So the fact that there are people in the world that are kind of disregard it makes me really sad. It makes me very sad, so... Even when I don't reach out to people, I still think about a lot of people in my life constantly. Even people that I no longer am with, like dates that I've left behind, or friends that I don't talk to very much. I still think about them. Like, I just wonder how they're doing. I hope they're okay, or, you know, I hope nothing's wrong. But it is sad. It's really unfortunate. I try so hard to not... Wait, I try so hard not to let that get to me, especially if I speak to you. Oh, I see. Wait, in what way overdose? Are you feel bad for me? Or, like, yourself? Or I'm trying to understand what you mean. My mom used to give me the silent treatment, and now if my husband doesn't text me within an hour back, I have panic attacks. Oh, no. It's that trauma kicking in. I do, though. I'm that way. I had an incident that happened actually where with my parents. I thought something happened to my parents because there was an issue with my phone and they were not getting any of my messages. So my mom would text me. I would text her back and she wouldn't receive the reply. And there were like long windows of time where I didn't hear back from her at all. And mind you, my parents had a big dispute with the neighbors, and the neighbors were being very aggressive. They were threatening my parents. So when I didn't get a reply from either of them, I was like calling them, texting them, nothing was working. I honestly thought the neighbors did something to my parents. And I got really paranoid. I was like calling my sisters, trying to get in contact. I called my ex. I was trying to call my dad's workplace and they couldn't get a hold of him. It was a big mess. And then finally the messages come through and there was a huge error with my phone, or my parents' phone. I think it was my mom's phone, but oh my God, I was really stressed out. I was making dinner and I remember I was trying to make a roux. And for those of you guys who don't know, a roux is like a mixture of like butter, oil, and flour. I was trying to throw together something for dinner. And I was just like furiously stirring this roux for like an hour long. And the onions had like been beyond caramelized as I was calling everybody, trying to get my parents. I called like one of my old classmates and I'm like, can you please, like, I need you to stop by the house. Like they're not answering. I don't know. I feel like something happened to them. It was messy. Like I come into chat and say hi, but don't get a reply back. It makes me feel away. Oh, I hope I don't miss your chats, Overdose. I don't think I have. But nag me until I do. Feel free to nag me. I don't care. I want you to feel acknowledged. So if I miss something, just, you know, post it again. But it is sad. I've had communities like that where I'm always an active participant most of the time. So when I don't get acknowledged, I actually get mad. I'll be honest with you guys. I actually get mad. I get mad, but I think internally it's because I'm mad because internally I'm sad. That's what it is. Like I want to be part of the conversation. I want to enjoy that like social aspect. And so externally I'm mad because I'm like, why aren't they answering? Like I'm trying to like say something funny or like contribute something to the conversation. And so I'm frustrated, but on the inside I'm like, I'm disappointed, you know? So I'm always like, I really try to get to everybody as best as I can. And thankfully I'm not like a very big creator, so it's easier, but for larger creators, understandably it gets difficult to keep up, you know? So I'm trying not to fault anybody, but it still like bothers me. I'm not gonna lie. It still bothers me when repeatedly I'm trying to talk to somebody and they're just ignoring me, either in real life or virtually. It's very unpleasant. Oh crap, I keep forgetting. I'm trying to put in like I never know the correct term. Oh, good night, Kitty. Thank you so much for hanging out. I appreciate it. I gotta stream a little earlier. Good night. But yeah, it's not the most fun experience for sure. So I will leave it. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna need everyone's help here, okay? Because to this day, I no longer know the politically correct term to refer to this parking space, but what do you guys call this parking space? What is the correct way to refer to this? Because I don't know the right term anymore. Like I know all the terms that I've heard it called. I don't know what the right term is though. Yeah, I honestly, I don't know. What is the right term to refer to this parking space? Let me see. I'm gonna look it up based on what I think it's called. Disabled parking? Is that correct? Is that still? I mean, it's specifically for people with disabilities, but I just don't know if that's the right term. Accessible parking space? That sounds a little bit more politically correct. Yeah, there's the H word, but that sounds very not correct to say anymore. Disabled parking permit. That's actually what's on the government website for my local county. And also the city as well. Yeah. I think disabled parking is the better term. Like disabled parking spot. But yeah, I like having them. I like having them in the game for the realism and for the inclusion, because they do exist. They do exist, so they, by right, they should be in the game, you know? Oh, the fountain. We can do the fountain over here. Let's see. I think it's in this one. Not here anymore? Let's see. I don't know where the fountain is. I think the fountain might be... I think the fountain is debug, but I'm not sure. I gotta figure out this area too. Let me see. That's gonna be a weird spot to figure out, but we can do it. So there's a deck up there. This area is not gonna be accessible, so I might have to do a different kind of roofing here, but I'm not sure. What? Out of bounds? What? Since when? What is out of bounds here? Let me see. What the heck? So weird. How is that out of bounds? Make it make sense? That's so strange. I mean, I might have to leave it as is, but... I was like, what's going on here? I do want like a slightly warmer wood. Maybe like this one. For the roof? Yeah, I don't know what to do that level as. I guess I didn't think that through. Didn't think it through, you guys. My bad. Let's see. Oh, it works if I go like this. I see what you mean now. Overdose, yeah. Maybe a man surgery? Ah, I hate that it does that though. So, can I even put more tiles though? I can't put more tiles. I'd have to like... I would have to do so much. Yeah, that's what I have to do, yeah. I don't want to do that, but... just a pain in the butt. It's a pain in the butt. Let me see. It doesn't even allow me. Like, I know there's a way to do it, but oh my goodness. It's gonna be a pain. Tile in. Let's see. One of the options almost had like more coverage, funny enough, but I hate that we can't stretch it either. Let's see. That is interesting. I feel like I'd have to go one tile over and then do it. Am I wrong there? Yeah, roofing is hard in this game, I'm not gonna lie. Oh. It's not letting me build anything. Yeah, I know what you mean, like have this extend out over here. Let's see. Can I make it extend out? This is crazy. How come I can't do it? No support. I think you mean this, right? Ah, okay, gotcha. Thank you. I see. Oh, because it counted it as a fence. That's why. Aye, Sims. Can't we see we have columns here? They're technically columns. That makes sense, but... it makes sense and it doesn't at the same time. I see. Okay, so now we can figure out this. Thank you. Alright. So, there's one solution. And we could just make it go... all the way. I do like the roof. I think this is on the right track. We can do this. just have it go low to the ground. Let me try, there's also this. Nope. This one. It's not bad. It's not bad. It's a little bit wide though. Let's see. Yeah, roof is gonna be tricky. I may have to make it so that it ends over here. Let me see. So that this part is symmetrical. If not, I'll make everything just a regular mansard. Is this the right one? No, hipped roof. Just a hipped roof through the whole thing, potentially. Tricky. Yeah, the shape is a little bit weird, but yeah, that intersection is let me try it with the hipped roof. This will probably be better. And I just make the slope, the elevation lower. That's not bad. That's not bad. I can do it. I can deal with that. Ooh, okay. I think this is probably the best roof I've done in The Sims 3. Oh, same issue. Okay. I'm liking this lot, though. I'll tell you that. I'm really enjoying how this is looking. All right, we'll go back here. I think I went too far. Glad you like it. Oh, that is correct. That is correct. Just gotta lower the pitch. This is gonna be a nice neighborhood. I know I'm not really one for like designing like posh neighborhoods, but I mean, I think it's gonna look really nice. I can see the vision, my vision for it coming to life very slowly. So now this one will be here. I'll just go all the way down. Easier. Yeah, look at that. Love it. Okay, let me get rid of this, though. Let's rebuild the wall. Or the fence. Fence in this case. Lovely. Cool. Okay. I think I'll make this a short stream this evening, so I don't think I'll be on too much longer. I will very likely be back again tomorrow, though. I have a lot more time since classes are done with. So fret not, I will return. I do want to see how the windows will look, though. I'm curious about the window situation. Those will look great, actually. Those look good up here, too. Let's see. We could do a few of these. This buy catalog is very slow for some reason. You'll be there? I appreciate that. Alright, let me see. Can't fit it up there. That would have been good. Fitting it like up there too, this one. Yeah, it doesn't fit. That's okay. Let's do something like this. Let's do 2 of these. The lower levels are going to have a lot of, like, these kinds of windows. Little by little. Let's see. Why do these windows look so blue? It's so strange. Let me see. We just gotta pull the palette over. That's better. Yep. The other one was like a cool blue. Or cool white, rather. Lovely, darlings. Lovely. Ooh. It's a random window. Right? I'm glad you like it. Oh, hey, Pip. It's been a long time. Look at you. How you doing? Uh-oh. We're freezing a little bit. I think we're good. Sims 3 is a little scary sometimes. I'm okay, Sleepy. How are you? I'm doing good. I just finished, well, I finished teaching a couple courses this semester. And just overall, like, the end of the year has been, like, kind of a wind down time, which is nice. So seeing family, still dating, Getting some work done, getting back to streaming. I wasn't streaming for a very long time. I hope you're doing well. You're still... Are you in California? You're in California, right? Still in California, yeah. Where are you in California? Oh, you don't have to share if you don't want to. Just in case it's private. I don't remember if you're in LA or like San Diego or something. I'm pretty sure it's not San Francisco. But I think you said it once, I just don't remember. An LA girly? Okay. My sisters are not too far away. And one of our viewers also lives in LA. I think was it Cupertino? Does that ring a bell? Probably does for you. Let's see. It's like an area kind of outside of LA a little bit, is it? Oh, that's in San Jose. I'm thinking of the wrong city. They're not there. They're in LA, but I can't remember the correct like area. Let me see. I'm not really good with California geography. So here's San Jose. Where is LA in comparison to that? See? Pasadena? Oh, I wish I remember where they lived. To get a sense of like where they are. Let me see. Torrance. There it is. Torrance. That rings a bell. What the heck? I can't remember if they still live there, though. I think they do. But, yup, that's LA. May have lived in Pasadena in the past. I just can't remember. It's been so long. Oh, hello, Kasha. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm up watching this. Yeah. It's pretty late here, too. It's 1:15. I almost was thinking of doing a tarot stream. But I don't think that's wise. Doing a tarot stream on low battery is not a fun experience. As much as I want to do tarot today. Because as you're doing, for me, and maybe it's because I'm still like a newer reader. I've been reading for a while now. I've been reading tarot for not super long, but it's definitely been well over a year of consistently doing readings publicly online, if that makes sense. But there are just times where it drains my energy very quickly. So I really try to concentrate and focus. I do have a process. But trying to do that, like when you're sleepy, is never good. I would probably last for like half an hour and then clock out. Versus like this is much more relaxing, you know? Oh yeah, for sure. Go get some food. What you having? I actually made some Thai curry soup yesterday. And it was delicious. I just finished it earlier. It was a big bowl of, it was a big pot of soup, but surprisingly the soup didn't last. I was so sad. But I'm gonna end up making it again. And Kasha says, hi. Hello, hello. You have different garage doors. Oh, fancy. Sims 4 could never. We've got bookcase here. I hate that this is 3 tile. But this one's really good. This is a really good substitution here. It does the trick. We need foliage, though. We need more foliage this way, for sure. We can have one up here. Lovely, darlings. Lovely. I'm gonna take a break. I'm gonna take a break from the country club, and then we'll work on the park, because I think there's just a lot of structural. There's a lot of like structural components for this, so I'm gonna circle back, but I'm gonna actually use the restroom as well. So give me 1 second. We'll return shortly, you guys. We are back, darlings. All right. Let me just get settled back in over here. Aha. There. Okay, so let's start on the park. Start on some of the new additions, which is, I think it's looking pretty good so far. I did want to move this though. I don't want it to be like a clear reflection. That's better. Links both ways over here. Love a good slide. Trampoline. Oh my goodness. I'm missing a sandbox though. I thought we had sandboxes in base game. I guess not. My god, this thing has like stairs everywhere, or ladders, I mean. I was gonna put this somewhere. Let me see, can I put it over here? I just don't know if it'll work. Like, I like the idea of this, but... oh, it's also floating. That's unfortunate. Yeah, it's kind of floating. There probably is a way to make it work, but I'm a little lazy right now, so... don't know if I want to figure that out. We'll be okay. We're gonna be okay. It's all good. So, let me see. The trampoline we have, I just don't know if the trampoline would make sense here. Interesting dynamic. I don't really mind that. It's a blah. I can't talk. I think it's a nice look having the slides kind of situated like that. 2 swings, 2 slides, and then 2 jungle gyms, I guess you can call them. I'm not really sure what the correct term is, but we used to call them. Get some more mulch. I think it looks pretty good though. I'll go ahead and erase some of it over here. Okay, so there's that. Love it. I do want some kind of cookout area, but I do also want some things over here. We have a special guest in the house. She has made her presence known in all of Transylvania. It is the one, it is the only Queen of the Fanged. She's prowled the streets of London. Welcome in, Vampire Queen. We're making progress tonight. We're making good progress. Look at the country club back here. We did some of the furnishing. Let me see if I can go back over here. Not furnishing per se, but more of like the exterior details. We're making some progress. But the roofing was a nightmare. Oh my goodness, the roofing, like all of this part was very complicated. I laid down all the trees, the fencing. I covered up the rabbit hole, which is down here. I still have to make it look unified though with this area. But I'm gonna hide this. But it's getting there. I took a break and I'm working on the park now. Gamer, hello. She's live again. Of course, darling. I'm here yet again, and I'm probably going to be here tomorrow as well. Hello, hello. Yes, I have arrived. Yes, of course. The Vampire Queen. Okay, we were missing... We rebuilt this from last time, so we're missing the benches, and there was also an easel. It's like Christmas. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Loving the gazebo, right? I think I made the pond a little too deep, but I mean, you know. It's gonna be okay. Need an easel though. Here we are. Do we have any favorite Christmas songs? I'm kind of like on the fence with some Christmas songs I like, and then others I'm like, like I'm not a Mariah Carey Christmas song. I don't like that song. I'll be honest. I think it's just doing too much for me. I know that there's some weird connotations to it, but I always like Baby It's Cold Outside. I always like that one. Santa Baby, I do enjoy. Like the slower versions of it. There's a Christmas song by Brandy that is so good, called Christmas Party for Two. That is a good song. And I listen to it even when it's not Christmas. It's so good. There is My Gift to You by Alexander O'Neill. That's a really great song. That's not very common. It's not very known. That is a great song. It's a really great like love song from the 90s. Let me see if I can raise this just a little bit. Oh, that's a good one. I like that one, yeah. Rocking around the Christmas tree. Yeah, that's a good one. I do enjoy that one. It's a nice classic without it being like... Some songs are obnoxious. There's also the John Lennon song, So This Is Christmas. Yep, we're gonna have some fishies in there, yep. I have to go through debug, though. Baby, it's cold outside. I am low-key that guy in relationships, but without like the creepy, pushy factor that some people associate with that song. Over here like, stay with me! Oh, hey Heather, welcome in. How you doing? Oh, Jackson 5 Christmas. I never listened to that, actually. You just reminded me of, oh, baby, give me one more chance. I want you back. See, I was more so into, is it New Edition? Yeah, I remember listening to more of their songs, more so than the Jackson 5. What is the song that I used to like all the time? What is that song called? Hold on, let me see. It was when they were really young. Oh my goodness, thank you for the gifted subscriptions. Thank you so much, gamer. Oh my goodness, 10. Oh wow. We have Nadia, Overdose, that's lovely. Our friend Overdose, Alan, Stricken Plague Doctor, and Raven. Oh, look at that. Thank you, thank you. My gift to you, says gamer. Oh, and look at our friend Maya, Olivia, and Oliver. Yeah, I remember a lot of these guys. Wait, gamer received it? Wait, hold on. Gamer, you also received the membership? I think you gifted one to yourself. What is the song I'm thinking of by New Edition? Oh yeah, Cool It Now. Ooh, watch out. You're gonna fall in love. Yeah, you gifted one to yourself, right? Oh yeah, and if it isn't love, why does it hurt so bad? And I forget the other part. Why are you still on my mind? Or something like that. Telephone Man, yeah. Mr. Telephone Man. I don't remember the words too well to that one, but I know the song. Oh, Candy Girl. That's the one. Mario, welcome in. Hello, new friend or returning friend. Candy Girl. Oh, that was a fun one. Candy Girl. That one does sound a lot like I Want You Back. But I love the song. Do you really love me? Do you really love me? I forget the words though. Oh, I love that song. My ex used to make fun of me. Let me see the lyrics on that. Why can't I remember how this goes? Let me see. I remember the Do You Really Love Me part. Candy girl, you are my world. You're everything, everything, everything to me. Yeah, I remember that part. See, that is like the I Want You Back song. But I think I prefer Candy Girl. It's a little blasphemous, but I'm like, I think I prefer Candy Girl. LOL came for Sims, but I really want to see him remember the song. Oh, that's valid, yeah. They were really young here, though. I think they were only, like, teenagers. But yeah, I do like them. There's a lot of songs by Bobby Brown that I do like, and he was also in New Edition. I gotta explore more of SWV. SWV had some good songs. Funny enough, my favorite song from them that I know of is actually an interlude. It's the interlude to Use Your Heart. It is beautiful. That interlude is like angelic. It's really good. Use your heart and not your eyes. I don't know what she says in this part or what they say. I think they say something like, let me see what the interlude says. It sounds like they say, You've got something, I've got time. Something like that. Oh no, if you got time, then I got time. Yeah. Free your thoughts and watch them fly. Yeah, that's what they say. I misheard that for so long. It was close enough. But yeah, I actually like the interlude better than the real song. And then another good interlude is let me see. There are really good interludes for Keith Sweat. I love his songs. I remember finding one of his songs called Merry-Go-Round. That song was so good, and it was so interesting because they had the Carousel theme song like in some parts of the song mixed with like the 90s R&B. It was so good. Like the idea of like merry-go-round, and the song was pretty much about a relationship that was becoming very cyclical. Like it would go through like up and down phases, and the girl and the relationship would be very like in and out, which is usually more of a guy problem, but it was just such a genius concept. And then seeing that play with the merry-go-round, like ding ding da 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 da, merry-go-round. It was so good. I was like, oh, I love this song. It's so good. The last person was my friend Oliver, I guess. SWV's so fire though, yeah. The first song I heard from SWV, I think, was Rain. Rain down on me. Let your love just fall like raindrops rain on me. That was the first song I heard from them. Let me see. The other song that I like from them is Weak. That's a good one. I get so weak, I lose all control. Something takes over me. That one's good. 1, 2, 3, 6. Nope. Oh, you're right. There is somebody missing. Huh. That is strange, but yeah, you're right. Huh. I'm not sure. That's very strange. I think they ripped you off a little bit, gamer. I don't know what happened. I'm sorry. Right? Can't explain why your loving makes me weak. Boom, doo-doo-doo. Yeah, it's so good. I actually saw like a very brief clip of them explaining how they got their name. They were actually supposed to be TLC originally, but that name obviously was used, and I think SWV means like sisters with voices, is it? Is that what it is? Sisters with voices, yeah. Oh my god, you know who was also good too? I think she did mainly covers though, but I could be wrong, is Inoj. So she sang Love You Down, but Love You Down was a song by another R&B group. And that group was Ready for the World. And then she covered, I think, Cyndi Lauper's Time After Time. But the first time I heard the song Love You Down, I heard her rendition first, and then I discovered the original. Which they were both good, but I do prefer like the slower version, which is the original artist, Ready for the World. Let me love you down. Who's gonna take all night? I think theirs was more like passionate. Theirs was very like seductive. I have not heard of them, no. I'd have to look them up. I do see, I'm curious, especially for like, I'll be honest, for any black viewers that are watching right now, how do you guys actually feel about a lot of Asian artists currently like doing like hip hop and R&B style stuff? And because I've heard songs and I'm like, this is very much like Black American R&B or Black American hip hop. And I don't see that. I don't see other like, at least not ones that I can think of. I haven't seen like other international artists particularly like try to recreate that sound. And it's very like, because I love R&B. I love a lot of the 90s R&B. I grew up in the 2000s, so I know a lot of that scene. And it's, I don't know. I guess I'm kind of like undecided on how I feel about it. I know that some people will be like, oh my God, like you're like, you know, like let it be, like they can do whatever music they want. Like obviously they can, but I'm like, I don't know, for some reason I feel a little like weird about it, about like that genre being appropriated, because it's very specific to black culture and I love like black R&B music. And when I see it like kind of like verbatim, like remade, I guess, I'm like, I like it in one way because it's music that I like, so I like seeing it kind of revitalized, but I feel a little weird about it. I feel like it's appropriated, but maybe it's just my own paranoia. I don't really know. I'm a K-pop fan. It's not always easy as a black fan because it takes a lot from R&B. Yeah, especially because I'll be real to Maya. Like, and I'm Asian and I'm very proud of like my heritage and whatnot, but at least from what I've heard and from a lot of things that I've read about, a lot of Asian countries are very racist, and they're also very racist towards black people specifically. So it feels very, dare I say, nasty to be like, oh, well, we're not really embracing these people, but we're going to use their culture to our benefit. Which is, I don't feel comfortable with that, honestly. That's the thing. If there's appreciation, if there's appreciation and respect, I think what would really help too is if they're vocal about their influences and be like, oh, you know, if you enjoyed our music, like we were inspired by these artists and you should also go and like listen to them and support that, or like know the history of like this music. You know what I mean? As opposed to like, oh, we're just gonna use it and then just be like, yep, we just made it our own. You know what I mean? Vampire, I wish I could gatekeep everything. They're killing it though. When they do it, it's done well. Yeah, because you can hear the influence. But yeah, it makes me a little bit like, I'm torn. I'm torn about it. I'm really torn on that issue. Like, Young Posse is so characteristic, and I don't know how it goes so under the radar. Oh, are they doing, like, blackface or something? Or are they, like, just trying to, like, be black with, like, their language and dress? Like, Young Posse? Let me see. That has been an issue, though, for sure. The whole like monetization of like black culture in general, just taking those trends, appropriating, and then making money off of it. Oh, I see what you mean. When I saw their picture come up in their style, they do remind me of TLC. Not the exact same thing, but they give off that like that 90s like, yeah. They're even dressed like cholas over here, which is kind of weird. Like, I don't know how I feel about that. That's very weird. It's very weird. It's especially weird, like, it's gonna sound very politically incorrect, but it sounds really weird on an Asian because that's just not, like, those subcultures are just not theirs. Like, those cultures and subcultures are just not Asian. I'll keep it real. Like, it's very weird. It feels very, like, it feels like I'm wearing, like, if I were them, it would feel like I'm wearing another person's costume. It's like me dressing up as, like, a mariachi member or something. You know what I mean? Or dressing up in, like, I don't know. Like, I'm not Japanese, but if I dressed in, like, a kimono or something, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't feel right. Or dressing up as a nun even, you know, or a priest. Like, that's not my culture. That's not my faith. So it's very, like, it feels wrong. It doesn't feel right. Unfortunately, that's the truth about Black culture. Everything is taken with or without appreciation. Yeah. I think what's awful, Vampire, and for all the Black viewers here, it's also this thing of, like, how do I say this? I'm gonna say it as is. I think it's nasty because I think a lot of, like, especially here in the States, but also, like, as we're talking about with, like, K-pop, I feel like there's a lot of Black culture that's looked down upon, but as soon as it's appropriated by, like, a group that's less marginalized, it becomes, like, cool. You know what I mean? Whereas, like, a Black person will do something, maybe a hairstyle, an outfit, a rap song, lingo, if you will, and someone's like, oh, that's like ghetto or something, and then somebody who's white, or in this case Asian, does it, and now it's like, oh, look at how edgy they are. I'm like, you gotta be like, so for real right now, like, like, what the hell? That is so wrong. That actually made me really mad because I remember, especially when I was with my ex is Mexican, and there was a whole era where there was a craze for Mexican food, and not just Latin food, specifically Mexican food. I feel like in the 2010s, like, the joy for, like, Mexican food really took off, and there was just this slew of non-Mexican people trying to, like, make these dishes, or they would go as far as, like, trying to, like, talk about, like, the culture, like, everything that would be tied to Mexican culture would be about, like, tacos and Dia de los Muertos. Like, that was the whole thing. And my ex got so mad because he's like, oh my god, like, he's like, these people don't understand my culture, and they're kind of like, they're like bastardizing Mexican culture, and specifically people not of color doing that. So it's like, ooh, Cinco de Mayo, Taco Tuesday. And it's like, girl, no. No. They started to do some of that with, like, Asian culture. That was a thing in the 2000s as well, with, like, the whole... There was a weird trend with, like, silk tunics and Mandarin tops. I'm like, oh god. No. And, like, the Harajuku thing. Like, the inner Asian in me says, yeah, like, no. It's like, stop using people's cultures as costumes and, like, party tricks. It's not a fad, it's a culture, people. Like, wake up. And, like, you can celebrate the culture, but the things that people would do were just terrible. Or, like, people would try to, like, let's say, like, with Mexican cuisine, they would try to make Mexican dishes, and they were, like, far from it. And there'd be people like, oh, we opened up this authentic taco shop, and we'd be looking at the tacos and be like, this is not how they're made, or, like, this is not how, like, a burrito's made, or a tamales or something, you know what I mean? Or the way that people would just, like, appropriate, like, Dia de los Muertos, for example, as, like, the only thing that they could relate to being Mexican, and everyone just, like, splatter the face paint on and not know what it's about. Oh, God. Tarzan all day? Not sure I know that one. Tarzan. This. Uh-oh. What is this about? Oh, I see. Like the black appropriation again. Yeah, with the whole... I think it's cornrows he's wearing. It's been the situation for many, many centuries. Many times it happens in many different areas. Yeah, so for example, Vampire, there's a whole movement in art history, and this is fairly recent. In the timeline of human history, it's very recent. There is a period of art movement called Japonisme, and that essentially is during, I want to say Victorian times. It was like, it was in the times of the Industrial Revolution, so I would say around the mid to late 1800s. And most of this, of course, took place in good old Western Europe. Okay. And there was an obsession for, at the time, Japanese art. So a lot of the artists would combine the current style, which was, in that moment, the style was mainly Impressionist and Post-Impressionist painters, merging it with Japanese art styles. So a lot of like the line art paintings that you see, the landscapes, the way that they would illustrate portraiture, you had that whole movement of Japonisme, and you would even see certain garments, especially for women, trying to like combine like Victorian gowns with like kimonos to an extent. They had that same phase with like the Middle East as well, with trying to tie in like more, I would almost say like Arabian, Indian influences. It had a lot also to do with like the trade at the time, because you had an increase in world trade, so you could then import like other, you know, spices, produce, crafted artisan goods. You'd have a lot of like international trade blossoming. Definitely an era of imperialism. So a lot of people that were not part of that were getting word of all these things, are like, ooh, like how can we experience it ourselves? And they were just getting like bastardized versions of everything. They'd either try to like mix it into something else, and it still happens today. How many times have we seen a person, for example, let's say a non-Mexican person, usually it's a person that's not of color, you guys get the memo here, and be like, oh my god, I just made some authentic tacos today. And we're looking at the tacos and we're like, girl, no. Like, this is not authentic. Don't try to pass it off as authentic. You can say, oh, I made some Mexican-inspired tacos, but it's the ignorance of people trying to take culture. They don't understand what it is, or why it is. They can't even create an accurate reflection of what it is either. And then just don't do any research. There's no respect. There's no credit. Like I said, there's no understanding of like the purpose behind it or the tradition behind it. You know what I mean? That is very frustrating. It's very, very frustrating. And the fact that like it's usually this argument of like people being like, oh, well, I'm trying to appreciate the culture, but it's like, yeah, but you can do better. You can do better. You know what I mean? Take care, gamer. Thank you so much for popping on in. You still like the Mandarin tops? That was a thing. That was a thing for sure in the 2000s. Yep. But it was weird. See, that this is such a weird thing. I'm not really sure of like all the significance behind like traditional Chinese garments, if you will. So I can't really speak to that appropriation. Cuisine is a very touchy topic though. Cuisine, music, fashion in a lot of cases, and especially religion. If you bring in religion or holidays or cultural celebrations, and those things should definitely not be messed with. And if they are, they better be done like, you know, respectfully, you know. But yeah, it's the whole like exoticism thing, especially for people not of color. Funny enough, my ex even called me out because I consider myself pretty respectful of other cultures, but even for me, like being exposed to a lot of Latin culture, like I did find it like interesting because it was foreign to me. It was different, like learning about, you know, the cuisine, the cultural traditions. I think exoticism is not really a great word, but I think that term especially is used by like Western culture, especially for people not of color. to describe how they feel about other cultures because it's just so different, you know? So sometimes there's like good intention, it just goes astray. But there are people who just, you know, especially people on Halloween that dress up as like another culture, it's like, don't do that. I don't even like people who dress up as like nuns, for example, like for Halloween. I don't think that makes any sense. I wouldn't dress up as a Buddhist monk. You know what I mean? It just doesn't make any sense. Maya, I just hate when people are dismissive about it. You can't tell people how to feel about their culture. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. You mean people who are like, oh, like, it's no big deal. Like, what's your problem? You know, like that kind of thing. And they will for sure react very negatively if you were to like make fun of their culture or appropriate it in a very like ignorant way. So it's very like, those people can be very like, what's the word? Like double standard, you know? I'm trying to think if somebody has done that with Asian culture in a way that like I've noticed. I would say the fashion, that whole thing in the 2000s, I find it more weird than anything. Just that whole craze of like, oh, everyone's gonna start wearing midriff silk mandarin tunics with some wild chopstick style hair updo thing. It's very strange. There was this sudden interest, though, I will say, in like Vietnamese culture in the 2010s, but specifically as it was tied to the cuisine, which I found kind of interesting. Yeah, like all the interest in pho was very interesting. Like it just popped up out of nowhere alongside the interest in Mexican cuisine. Wu-Tang Clan, I don't know too much about them. Let me see. I've definitely heard of them many times. But I just don't know much about them. So I can't really speak to that. But yeah, it's wild, you guys. Culture's a hard thing. Because I also don't want to be like, I'm not a person that's going to be like, you know, social justice warrior, but obviously, seeing people's culture disrespected does make me, definitely makes me frustrated. It's especially bad when people do very blatantly insulting or blatantly like incorrect things with someone else's culture, and then like Maya said, when they're just dismissive, like, oh, it's nothing, like it was just like this one dish or like this one outfit or, you know, these few songs, and they're just very like, you know, very defensive with not really a lot of good ground to stand on. And for me, I kind of err on the side of like, I would rather be more mindful of cultures than just everybody doing what they want with other people's cultures. You know what I mean? Being like disrespectful or ignorant about history and tradition. Oh, there you go, the interest in matcha. Oh my god, or like the chai tea thing when everyone's like, you realize chai is just like the term for tea. Yeah, it's like culture just becomes a fad. That's the thing. That's the real like kind of issue here, is the culture is a fad. It doesn't, people don't take the time to understand it. It's just used because it's interesting and popular, and then it's discarded. It's discarded afterwards. There's a wave of Asian influence on black culture since the 70s, mainly coming from kung fu movies. Some rapper on Vlad TV said the community related to the movies because the bad guys were white. Oh. Interesting, yeah. I'd be interested, Mario, to also see like the influence that like black culture had on the Asian communities, especially like in more like urban environments. There probably is like correlation there. I don't know to what extent though. I have no idea, but I feel like in a place like LA, that would be prevalent. Maybe somewhere like New York City as well. Ooh, I'm liking this. I have not. I've heard good things about it, though. Ooh, nope. That's floating around. Okay. Oh, it reminds you of Sinners as well, huh? I'll have to look into it. Okay, let me see. So we got that in place. If the lot doesn't load. Oh, there it is. It does load a little. But yep, there's the base of the country club. Explores that dynamic. Oh, you just saw it. Okay, that's pretty funny. Let me get a snack, you guys. I gotta eat like a little bar or something. Same. I need a peanut butter sandwich right now. Oh my god, it's K-Rit. Look at you being up late. Oh, K-Rit, you missed some good conversations. We were pretty much calling out. We were on the topic of black music. So we were talking about especially like black, like R&B, hip hop, and we were talking about just the crappy cultural appropriation that happens. And we started talking about other cultures that have suffered that fate. You know, so I talked briefly about like Mexican culture being appropriated, in some aspects Asian culture. But we're talking about a lot of like good artists though. We're talking about SWV, TLC. I love Keith Sweat, love that. New Edition, Lauryn Hill. I just woke from such intense pain in my right knee. Oof, that sucks. I'm sorry. Well, I'm glad you can join us, even for a little bit, if you have to go back to sleep. That's unpleasant. I got a little snack because I haven't really... Well, I guess I had dinner, but it's just really late. But I hope you feel better. Currently working on the world still. So we got our park going on. Park is looking pretty good. This is going to be a country club over here. And in the lower levels, there is a resort tower hidden away. Oh, I've been good. I've been doing good. Finished teaching a couple classes. Things are kind of winding down for the year. I should have some weekend plans, so I'm looking forward to those. I hope everything's been well with you. Let's see. I have like 2 more areas here. So I like the gazebo. I did want to have like a cookout area. Did have that previously, I think. Oh, no. There's not enough room? Let me see. This? I can either do the fence or I can use the stone wall over here. If I want something a bit more continuous. Okay, this part will be a little tricky here, but you can do it with the half tiles. Oh, originally we had a fountain. I forgot. We had a fountain before, you guys. I completely forgot. Yeah, I'm having to rebuild this. So there was a period where I lost all my builds for the world. I didn't get to save them, and then the world file corrupted. Oh, chopping in and out, huh? That's weird. I've got pretty good connection, K-Red. I'm not sure what's going on. Drop frame 759, only 0.3% of frames, so I'm not sure what's going on. I watch the streams in the background and make sure that they're working, and they seem okay, but I can pause them if they're taking up too much internet bandwidth. No way. I was gonna say a fountain would look so cool, but I didn't trust my design sense, and then you said it and I regret not saying it. That's fair. That's fair. But yeah, if you need to switch over, K-Rit, like if you want to jump over to YouTube, if that may be better. I think usually Twitch is better at keeping the stream, like, smoother and more up-to-date. YouTube usually lags behind. Okay. Need some benches over here. Let's see. Oh, I don't have the one I used. I don't have it. I mean, it'll do though. And then we'll have the grills. Lovely. Good night, guys. Have work in the morning. Have fun. Oh, lovely. Thank you so much for tuning in, Maya. Definitely get some rest, and I hope you have a good day at work as well. Maybe we'll see you tomorrow. Yes, good night. 209, yeah, same here. Me and K-Rid are on the same time zone. K-Rid, where are you based? Are you in New York? I'm pretty sure you're up north, like northeast. Is the accent, but I could be wrong. I want to say New York. I don't think you're from New England, but I think you're from like New York or Jersey, maybe. My phone's telling me to go back to sleep. That's fair. I should probably go to sleep soon too, but I'll ride it out until I just get tired of building. Let me see. Let me try this. This looks like it could fit pretty well over here. Yeah, I don't really mind that. Let's do it. Wait a minute, wait a minute. Okay. The Bronx. Okay. I did trust my instincts. I was like, I'm pretty sure it's New York, but if not New York, then Jersey. It's so funny, K-Rit. So I lived, I redeemed sleep replacement potion. Right, Vampire? I actually don't know if I ever had like any kind of northern accent as a kid. I have home videos of myself. I just don't remember if I ever had an accent. Because I can definitely tell from your accent that you're from the north. And I was like, I'm pretty sure New York. My dad has the accent for sure, but his accent is the Boston accent. Like, pack the car. Like those kind of longer, like A sounds. Pack the car. Hmm. It's weird. Sometimes I'll slip into the northern accent completely randomly. I slip between all kinds of accents. It's very strange. So sometimes I'll slip into like some kind of northern accent. Usually closer to like New York mixed with Boston. I don't really think like if I do talk with a northern accent by accident, if it happens, it probably is not like very Jersey-ish. Sometimes I'll say certain words with a little bit of a southern drawl, which is random too. It's weird. Then I slip into Ebonics sometimes, like... And then sometimes my accent slips into more of like the SoCal, not really Valley Girl, but almost that kind of like LA speak. It kind of goes all over the place. My accent is a mess. Like, I think most of the time I think I talk fairly like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, standard American accent, usually hovering in that area, but then if I get in certain moods, some other accent comes out subtly, but it's there. I can feel it as I talk. It's very strange. Oh my goodness, I did not expect that. It's like a Mayan head? Olmec. I was gonna say Olmec, but I thought like, maybe not. Ah, I should have trusted my instinct. I could have seemed so smart. The giant Olmec head. I think the Olmec were like an older... They were like an older Latin American and indigenous civilization, and I believe the Mayans and Aztecs followed afterwards, but I could be wrong. I have that pronounced NYC accent with words like, oh yeah, quarter, coffee, walk, talk, right? You're from the Bronx. Yeah, it's funny, K-Rit. So here's a funny thing about me. If I'm very excited, I will usually slip into some kind of accent for some reason. So for example, I was having a hard time getting a hold of my parents. There was something wrong with our phones, and whatever I was doing, my parents would not be able to receive any calls from me or any messages. And I remember getting so, I was really stressed out, and eventually I got a hold of them, and we were trying to like troubleshoot things, and I was slipping into a northern accent the whole time. It was really funny. Like, it's like, did you do what I said? I was like, pick up the phone right now. Like, okay, send a message, call. Like, like mom's on the phone. It's hilarious. And then I usually will slip into Ebonics if I feel very like agitated or like sassy, which is very weird. And I think it's because I grew up in a school at the time that was predominantly black. So there was a lot of lingo and like, I guess like mannerisms that I picked up from that. So sometimes I'll slip into that. The politically correct term is Ebonics, but that happens. And then randomly, just, I think like more recently, I've started like falling into like random words that I'll do with a southern drawl. It'll just happen for no reason. Just out of nowhere. It's like, I will give you that all American experience. The only thing that I don't, yeah, the only accent that I don't really talk with is the Midwestern, because I never grew up in the Midwest. I don't have friends or family in the Midwest. I'm not exposed to that culture or that way of speaking a lot, so that's not like canonically in my mind, you know? So I don't slip into Midwestern talk. That's the only like, I think that's the only like major accent that I've never slipped into. But it's weird. It's so weird. Trying to think if I want something else over here. I feel like something's missing. I just don't really know what. I'm like, could I put more like flowers or something? Let me see. Yeah, I kind of want to do something because it is kind of plain. Do like a... Oops, not that. Like, just enough to have some kind of like flower bed or something. I'm not sure. Oh. I forgot that this cannot be recolored, which is weird because it could have very easily have been editable. I don't understand why that's not an option. That's so weird. Huh. At least give us the color to, or excuse me, just, they could have just given us the option to change the color of it, but I guess nothing works like that in Sims 3. It's very all or nothing. You can either recolor something with any color or any pattern swatch, if you will, or it's just not editable. It's left as is. So strange. Definitely have some small flowers though. Let me see. I was like, let's get the small flowers, and then bam, got this thing. I love this though. It's just, It's way too big. I don't like that green. That green is very artificial. That could work. I did like the other option better, but it's not too bad. Let me see. This one. Yeah, that green's very unnatural. It's almost passable. Let me try it. Let me try it. Can't knock it till I try it, so here we go. Try again. Yeah, I think that works. Something. A little bit of something. I love this park, though. I think it's looking great. I'm just not sure what I want to do with this area, though. Well, there's no bathrooms. I realized there's no bathrooms. You can either have the bathrooms be back here, or have them be over here. I do like having some open area for the park, though, as well. I just not sure what to put. Picnics. Oh, good night, Heather. Thank you so much for tuning in. Might see you tomorrow. A wonderful stream. Have a doctor's appointment later this morning. Take care. Oh, no problem, K-Rid. I hope the appointment goes well. Definitely get some sleep then. See you later. Let me see. I do kind of like this as well, this like fire pit over here. We still don't have a bathroom though. Don't have the bathroom yet. Good. Could do it here though. Let me see. If I move this bush, do I need to add chairs? How does this work? For all my Sims 3 fans, I'm also a Sims 3 fan, but I just have not done enough gameplay in a while. Do we have to add our own chairs here for this thing, or does it populate by itself for the fire pit? I don't remember, unfortunately. I can put chairs in. You have to add the chairs? Okay. Thank you, Overdose. Let me see what we have. I think the ones that had were fine. I'm just gonna take the wood swatch. I love this park, though. It's coming out better than the original that I had working on. Or excuse me, it's coming out better than the original one that I had worked on, I should say that. I'm like, are these the right swatches? It's the same damn thing. It barely changed. Okay, there it is. Okay, there we go. Okay. That's fine. Let's do that. Yeah, sometimes you change something, you're like, that made no freaking difference. It was the same thing, but there we go. So funny. Okay. We also have no lights. That's another issue. So... Oh, that's really cute. It's almost a little too cute. But I do like it, though. Definitely not that. Not that. Not that. Nope. Nope. Yeah, this would actually make sense. It does have a little bit of that look to it. Hmm? I'll go ahead and put these at every entrance. So we'll do one here, there, over here as well. Okay. For this area, let's see. Yeah, the children's playground is dark, but we have to put these in a place where children wouldn't bang their heads on. So probably over here. Be here. Okay, now this area. I would actually put it right here, and I would just move trash forward. I love how I think about things that have no relevancy in The Sims at all. Like, I was literally thinking about kids coming down the slide and, like, hitting their head on the pole. So I'm like, let's put the street lamp in an area that should be safe. You know, like, you're not gonna swing and hit the pole over here, you know? Alright. That can be left as is. This will go probably over here. Find a different way to light that area, but this is pretty good so far. That's not bad. And then let's see what else. Yeah, there should be a light in here, but I don't use that light in particular. I kind of like how cute these are. Maybe just these. Yeah, that works. I can do. Do it in these areas. It's lovely, darlings. Lovely, lovely. See, I'm curious. Okay. I think this is a good stopping point. We've worked on this for over 3 hours, which is great. So let's see, what did we do? We made some rearrangements here to the playground. We added some foliage in. We made our little dining area here. Developed the pond more. And we did flesh out the main shell of the resort. So that's not bad. I think we made pretty good progress. Yep. At some point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a series of shells in this area of the world. So this area, like I said, is more of like the richer side of town, very upper middle class. There will be a lot of like McMansion style houses, or I guess more guess you can say historical homes over here. Definitely nautical, colonial influences, Victorian. Some of the McMansion energy when you mix the styles. That'll be fun. I do have to, unfortunately, redevelop the school here. And then also this area. I think this area was supposed to be the pool. It was like a pool and a gym combination. I couldn't decide which one I wanted, but it was an extension of the school here. And then we have more lots over here. I think I'll do like a town square kind of thing, and then a library. So we got some good stuff. We got some good stuff cooking over here. It overwhelms me looking at the world though, because there's still so much to do, but little by little, we'll get there. We will get there. It's been fun though. It's been fun building in The Sims 3 again. It's harder. It's definitely harder than Sims 4, but I do like the realism that it has, and then the fact that we have the color wheel helps so much. Building in The Sims 3 would not nearly be that enjoyable without the color wheel. I'll be honest with that. But we're getting there. I definitely like zooming in and seeing parts of the area. Here's the park that I need to finish, but it's mainly just this. There's not really too much going on here. This lot is finished. I do have to do a lot of interior designing, which is going to be interesting. We finished the library. We finished this area here. I love this area. We're getting close to finishing the thrift store extension. That was almost done, and then something for over here, which I might make it like a playground or something outside the supermarket. But that is it, you guys. I think we'll just end up saying goodbye for the night. I was gonna try and raid on Twitch, but not really anybody I know that's also playing Sims or like another cozy game, so we will see. Yes, Vampire, thank you so much for stopping by. I will probably be back tomorrow. Probably later in the evening. Not this late, but I will likely be back if you guys want to tune in again. But of course, thank you all for being here. I hope you have a good rest of your day or night, and I'll see you then. All right, so as always, this is Townie Streams, signing off. See you later, you guys.